Right, hello again. Thanks for joining us here at Trust Towers for this here Shrimps Trust podcast. We are all refreshed and reinvigorated after the international break. Let's hope everyone at the club is too. So this week we're going to reflect on recent events. We look forward to the home games coming up as well. In the company of my colleague in crime, Joel. Hello, Joel.
Hi, Freez.
The resilient and resourceful I'll try that again in English. The resilient and resourceful boardroom guru, Charlie Appleyard. Charlie, welcome along.
Good evening, David.
And perhaps the most welcome guest we have ever had on this here humble podcast, the Shrimps legend, that is the kitman, the $6 million man, the irrepressible Les Dewhirst. Les, great to have you here.
Well, I'm glad I'm here as well. much appreciated.
Yeah, I think it's right. I just thought it was perfect to have you on, because obviously the first thing we're going to talk about is a game that you were at, but you didn't see much of, Wigan.
Yeah.
Joel, you were there. I was watching. Charlie was there. I thought in the home game they were a good side. They were one of the best sides I've seen, and I know they only just beat us with a dodgy header, but I thought they looked a decent side, and they proved it at the DW.
Yeah, no, they're a very good side. I think we played quite well, to be honest. We worked hard. You know, we had a little in that first half. There were a couple of moments and kind of little periods of play where we were putting them under a bit of pressure. I think Cole has quite a good lob tipped over the bar by the keeper. Couldn't quite see from our end, but yeah, some really, I thought there was some really quite encouraging stuff, but then just, soft goals, and in fairness as well, that they're good quality. They've got, I think, Josh McGuinness on the first one to direct the header across goal like that. Really good of him to do that, because, he's arguably a championship striker or top end League One striker. So, when you got players of that caliber, then, sometimes they are able to pull off things like that. Second half, come back into it. Really good to see a bit of a reaction. Get the penalty, put it away. Very nice from Dylan Conley. Good to get his first goal, because he's been very good under Derek recently. And then, just from there, looked like we had a bit of momentum, and then that third goal kind of kills it really again. But I mean, it's a funny one, because I look at it and I don't think, well, Wigan very good quality, obviously. They didn't really blow us away for large parts of the game, but it's just one of those where you got a team at Wigan who the high in confidence. They've done very well since the turn of the year. They're very much in the ascendancy. They look like they're marching towards automatic promotion. Look like they might even be able to have a go at sneaking the title against Rotherham after they've dropped a bit of form. And you can see that the blood's up. They've got the confidence high. And we just come off the back of quite a difficult week. And it's just one of those where you just see a team in confidence, and they are just able to assert themselves into games very much like we did at the end of last season. I remember, we just won, and it's one of those. On the bright side, I suppose that's the most difficult game of our running out of the way. So things are going to get better, surely.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably is on paper, the most difficult game we face. And I agree completely. Watching it, I never really think they had to really get out of second gear to put us to the sword. But I think there's a lot to be said in what you said. I agree completely. They look like a side full of confidence who were just sort of doing things on autopilot. We looked like we were trying really, really hard and defending to our best of our abilities, but we didn't look like a team. We just looked like a collection of individuals who were trying to really work hard and do what was instructed of them, and it didn't quite come off. But I was listening to the commentary, and it was the Wigan commentary that I was listening to, and they were completely indignant when the penalty was given and couldn't understand what it was given for, which made me laugh, because I was like, well, that was a stone wall penalty. We've had about 5 of them not given, so it was, and I know it made no difference in the end, but it was nice to be given one for a change.
Yeah, it was nice to see it given to us. I can't. It looked a little bit like handball from where I was, and I'll be honest, I wasn't entirely sure when watching it, because you never are in the stadium a lot of the time, unless it was that one on Columnley against Bolton, and I was very short that one. But I just shout with everybody else, as you do when handball, whenever the ball goes anywhere near somebody's chest, stomach, top of your shoulder, you just yell for handball, don't you? But yeah, it looks like, looking on the replay, it looks like the right call. So nice for it to come off for once. Shame it didn't lead to anything, but
And looking back at that game, Charlie, it was probably the hardest game we face. It didn't come right for us in the end, but you've just got to look at it and say, right, okay, we have to put that aside and move on, don't you?
Never in the history of the many, many, many international breaks from Morecambe Football Club has one come at a better time. When you're a multinational, international capped squad like we have, it's been a good time to have the break. And the point is that things bigger than football happen that day, and it makes the perspective is there for all to be seen, and the amount of well-wishing messages to Les that went out there shows how highly valued he is by everyone in the club, from all the angles of all the different affiliations with the club. And the Wigan game was always going to be tough. For 2 weeks off, it's time now to not talk about that anymore. I feel like we've got a 7-game season. We've just going into it now. We're just going to try our damnedest to right some wrongs and get everyone behind us on Saturday and Tuesday, and try and get some points, because looking at the form of everyone, I know we're talking about 50 points, but maybe 40 or 41 might do it. So just try and get as many on the board as possible and see what happens.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that's a good way of looking at it. Is we've got a 7-game season, and everything starts from now, and you've just got to put everything that's happened out of your mind.
Yeah.
Looking at that game, Les, obviously things took a turn for the worse for you, which we'll come to in a bit. But I know I was keeping an eye on the social media things, and I know your daughter Colette said you'd woken up in hospital after you'd had your treatment, and said, "How did we get on?" And she went, "We lost 4-1," and you went, "Oh no, is that true?"
Yeah. It is, isn't it? When all of us here, we know. We know what it's like. Supported the club for years and watched hundreds, not thousands of games. And it's in us, isn't it? So, yeah. And it's the only thing I ever really talk about at home. I don't talk to our lass other than, we got a room on our own. And, I don't know what we talk about anymore. I tell her to shut up about her work, and then I tell her about mine. So, but yeah, it was the first thing, because it's massively important.
So you didn't ask what had happened to you?
Did what?
You didn't ask what happened to you?
Oh, I knew what was going on.
So we'll look ahead to the start of our 7-game season. We've got Burton Albion at home on Saturday, and I want to talk a little bit about the away game, because I think we came away from a 3-2 defeat at the Pirelli Stadium, and that it's one of the few times that I can say 3-2 probably flattered us, Joel.
Yeah, it was a funny game, really. Taking the lead so early on, and I mean, it was lovely for about 5 minutes, and then and then obviously a couple of defensive kind of lapses. I think that was at the start. I mean, going back, I'm just going back to when it might be the end of November, end of October, beginning of November kind of time. I think that was kind of towards the start of that slightly bad run over November, December. I think, it was a difficult game on a Friday night, but I'm just trying to remember what happened in it. But
they were all over us.
Yeah,
they were. They could have had 10.
I think we just seemed to get a bit unstructured after quite a good start. I remember they scored, and I think after that first goal that they scored as well, we just seemed to kind of lose a bit of a grip on things after we had what you think is a perfect start. So, hopefully we won't see anything like that. Hopefully we'll be looking to clear any corners that come in at the near post nice and promptly. So, fingers crossed that I don't expect to see anything like that. Also, I don't expect to see Liam Gibson scoring anytime soon either. That was a pretty tragic play. Yeah.
But if you remember, I think Cole got one back in the 90+2 or something like that to make it 3-2, and it made it look like it was a closer game than it actually was, Charlie.
That was another unusual. Sorry, that was another unusual one. Cole scoring a header.
True.
Does.
Yeah, true. I think that is a rare. Well, along with Liam Gibson's party piece, that's the both collectors' eye.
Yeah.
But they're a decent side, and they can cause us problems. But we've got to be, well, as you said, Charlie, we've got to put everything out of our mind and just look to what we can do, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, the not to use Les's recent events in take advantage of that, but, you know, this Do It for Les campaign that
Don't do that.
Ryan started. What we want to keep Les happy, keep him not you know, getting too stressed, and if we win every game 4-0, he'll be a happy man. So do it for Les, everyone.
Well, we're doing it for the club, because obviously we really we need to carry on enjoying this season. It's been difficult, but we've been to some great places, and we still got to go to a couple of places yet. But
my funniest memory of Les this year going to places when we went to Wigan. I don't know if you were there, Joel and Freez, but it was absolutely hammering down with rain, and there was only like there was no seat for Les in the dugout, so he had to sit on outside the dugout, and we chucked him an umbrella out the stands, and he sat there in an umbrella for about a second, but then didn't want to look like a wimp, so he just threw the umbrella on the floor, sat there in the rain for half an hour while they put 4 goals past us.
I'm not doing a Steve McLaren, having my umbrella up on touchline. I'll
Wally with the brolly.
Wally with the brolly, yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness, you know, we've got these 2 games to try and get something on the board. You know, I know you're going to talk in a second. We had a good game against them as well. But we've got the community day, and we've only got 370 tickets left for me to sell out the ground, which is unbelievable. And we just got to get behind the club, get behind the lads, get behind the. I know the lads have been under pressure with criticism on social media, but you know, we've got to be behind, got to keep together, and really go for it in this 7-game season. Now, in my mind, we haven't played any games yet. We've just got to start again and try and get something on the board on Saturday. And they aren't in good form. They are mid-table. They haven't got anything to play for, but that doesn't mean anything. We've still got to concentrate and do the best job we possibly can.
I think Joel, being our resident techie expert, perhaps you could, if you could get all the Burton Albion squads emails and texts and send them Jet 2 holidays abroad and exotic escapes websites, so that on Friday night they can all look at their holidays. That would be good, Joel.
Yeah, I'm sure I can, maybe not email, but send a few tweets off to them maybe. But yeah, that's the thing. You kind of hope at this time of the season that a few teams might be on their holidays, but you never know, really.
They did us a favour, because the other day, I don't know if you saw the weekend, I did a Parkinson's walking football tournament at St George's Park.
Yeah, I saw that.
We were staying in the hotel in St George's Park on the Friday night where Fleetwood was staying. So speaking to the Fleetwood coaches and players, I was like, I hope you don't have a sign here tonight, boys. Don't have a sign here at the restaurant. And then I'm going to set the fire alarm off and all this sort of stuff. You know, what time do you want to know? Midnight wake-up call. So the Fleetwood guys were really friendly. They came to the tournament and said hello to everyone, which was great of them. But they did this massive favour that day. Fleetwood were 2-0 up, weren't they?
Yeah.
2-0 up. Burton came back and scored 3 goals. So it shows what they're capable of. I know that was at home, but
their home record is particularly good, actually. So it's the thing that's kept them mid-table. So I'm away. Then they're hopefully a bit flaky, and Saturday even hopefully a bit more flakier. It's going to be tough though, Les, isn't it? Because you remember the game at the Pirelli, and a Friday night there, they give us a bit of a run around.
Yeah, it was. After we scored, we seemed to go backwards a bit. It just gets depressing, doesn't it, when we're not even getting near the ball, no chances, and like they're going to score 6 or 7. So yeah, just very difficult. It's been like that nearly all season.
Yeah, it's a tough division, and Derek himself has said the gap between League 2 and League 1 is a lot bigger than people think, and you just have to look at teams who are just outside the playoffs who are probably going to miss out, possibly Ipswich. You know, it's like, ooh, crikey, you know. So
look at the games we've had since Derek joined. Look at the game. I can't believe that. It's been ridiculous. Every form team in the league we've played in the last 5 or 6 games. Even Shrewsbury are on an amazing run.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks to beating us, but that's the way it is, isn't it? So we've got the rearranged game on Tuesday against Oxford United. Oxford United at the Kassam. We played really well for about 70 minutes there, Joel, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good game. Really, we did well. I think they're a good side, and I think at times they gave us a lot of trouble. But at the other end, we gave them a lot of trouble as well. And
That's one thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and they were able to put it away. I think we had a couple of flaky moments at the back, especially with their last 2 goals as well. I think we conceded from a corner, and they rarely ever score from corners. And obviously that was an issue we were dealing with at that time. So yeah, but it does show that, you know, on our day we can match them, and I know their fans were quite complimentary towards us after the game.
They were very nice, weren't they?
Yeah, and to us, if we drawn that game, I don't think that too many people could have really complained. But you know, just
if we got a point for every director that said to me this year, you've got a really good side there, you probably say it would be in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's exactly the same. We've bumped into fans on the way out so many times, and we said, "Hey, you had a right good goal there. You keep playing that way." And I seem to remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joel, but didn't Ryan Delaney put it wide when it was easy to score?
You said it.
That was right, wasn't it, Joel?
That was right.
I was sat next to you in the stand, and we looked at each other as if, how's he missed that?
It was a memorable one. It was a particularly memorable one.
And that could have changed the game. But I know we eventually did score with Cole, one of Cole's finer goals, actually, with that fantastic sort of half volley. But on the day,
it was a proper volley.
Yeah, I seem to remember sort of both our wing backs giving them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Cooney set up the goal, and Lee down the other flank set up the open goal miss. So then both them from fullback, they did really well that day. Just, you know, one of those where, you know, we played well. I think that came just before our performances probably dipped a bit over November, December, and I don't know, maybe if that was a bit of a psychological hit that we played that well and didn't have much to show from it. But, you know, you just got to put that out, like Charlie said, you know, you just got to put that out of your mind. It's so hard to compare as well, you know, with the change in manager and the change in players even in January. It's difficult to kind of compare and say, we did this in that game, so we'll do this in that game. And in this game, 5 months later or whatever. It's hard to compare, really. It's hard to say. We'll just have to see what Derek's been working on over the past couple of weeks.
I seem to remember Oxford were quite easy on the eye, though. Yeah,
they definitely were, yeah. And to us, they've got quite a nice big pitch. I think our pitch is a little bit smaller, probably makes it a bit easier to compress the space a little bit more. So hopefully we'll be able to restrict them from that kind of game a little bit.
And I go back to what Charlie said before. 370 tickets available left for Saturday, which against Burton, is fantastic. So if you're listening to this on Friday, then get your mates and people from work, come down, and we could possibly have a full house. Now, obviously, from that point of view, it's quite disappointing that we've got Oxford was cancelled, because we'd expecting them chasing promotion to bring quite a few on a Saturday, but maybe not as many on a Tuesday, Charlie.
Yeah, it's a shame, Freez. I mean, it always restricts how many you can take from a game, but at the same time, we'd probably rather play them after 2 weeks off with a rejigged, fresh. Yeah, I'm not saying what the result would have been, but we were on such a sustained run of uneasiness, and it's probably been a good. It's probably a better time to play them, even though the club won't make much money.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but like you say, if we could, and this changes everything, Les. If we can get 3 points off Burton, it's kind of you can hit a roll then, can't you?
Yeah, I don't think we've won 2 games on bounce this season, have we?
No.
So, like I say, if we get 3 points at Burton, and I'm something in my head's telling me we are doing, so I'm having that. It's not often I'm like that. I don't like predicting.
Probably a fan in the morning, let's get to add it home.
Yeah, I think Oxford, for me, have always been good. Carl Robinson, I think, is an excellent manager.
Yeah.
We trained at their training ground a few times, and he's always chatting with us. But you watch him how he takes his training sessions, plus with his staff, he's top draw for me. And if we can get, without not lose on Tuesday anyway, against a team that's in the playoffs, even pushing for automatic, I think will do really well.
Well, I do hope you're right, and obviously time will tell. We'll talk about it next Thursday and see what we've got. But are we collectively happy with 4 points out of that?
Yeah,
I'd take that. I think you look at the other teams like around us. Just we think we've gone a long time without a win. You know, I think they've gone even longer. I think Fleetwood might have won just afterwards, maybe, but. You know, it's such a bizarre. It's kind of quite a bizarre situation. It's quite unique, really, and you just feel that, you know, if you can get a couple of wins, then that really starts to turn the screw on the other teams a little bit. I'm sure they're probably thinking the same thing about us. So we've just got to hope that we're the ones to take the initiative on Saturday. Really, it's got to probably be on Saturday. So hopefully we can do that.
Yeah,
go on.
I think we should take something from Gillingham. They've just found a little bit of something. Not saying they're playing brilliant, but to beat Aki at Aki, fantastic. You know, and they've just had a couple of tiny other little results here and there, picking them points up. So if we can 4 out of 6 points by Tuesday, I think we might have pulled someone back in by then.
Well, I think that's a fair point, Les, because obviously Gillingham obviously gained something from what they call the new manager bounce. And obviously Wimbledon last week, were backing Mark Robinson, and then they lost on Saturday and they sacked him. Yeah. So he's had the dreaded the boardroom seal of approval, and within 72 hours is gone. And obviously they've got an experienced man in now at Wimbledon, Joel. Yeah,
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. It's been a slightly muddled situation with them backing him and them saying that, you know, deciding to dispose of him. That you can tell what they're doing. They're going for the bounce. Is it a real thing? And who knows? You'd have to probably have a little bit of a study into it. And I might look well later tonight. Who knows? But I'm obviously Gillian managed to get that under Neil Harris. I think it was less of a bounce under Neil Harris, but I think he's had more time to kind of work on things. And I think he came in the back end of January and just was able to kind of get things set up a bit more. And you've seen the effect he had. Whether the new fella at Wimbledon can do the same, who knows? Hopefully not.
Two things I'll say about the Wimbledon situation. First of all, they're playing Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. So if they get a manager bounce on that, then they deserve the points. They're doing amazing work at the moment. Second thing I'll say is about what a nice guy Mark Robinson is. When they came to Morecambe this year, I might have said it was on a previous podcast, but I came up with some Wimbledon fans from near where I live, and my son's friend Harlow. He was the Wimbledon mascot, and he was the Morecambe mascot. I was very proud of my 8-year-old. He clapped proud as he came off, running off the pitch. But after we were getting the train back to London afterwards, and Wimbledon were on the train. And first of all, Mark Robinson came all the way from first class where Wimbledon was sitting. Went and got my friend's 2 Wimbledon fan sons and my son. Took them to the Wimbledon carriage, signed all their shirts and all their memorabilia. We got all the team to sign all the stuff. Nice. He personally brought all the kids back to our seats, and the train broke down. And my medication had worn off, and I couldn't stand up properly. We had to swap trains. And on that train, there was really drunk Fulham fans, QPR fans, and Wimbledon fans were obviously quite well to do, but it was quite scary on the platform where everyone got kicked off the train. Mark Robinson looked after us, and then it was a free for all when the new train came along. And Mark Robinson saw the bad way I was in because I hadn't got any drugs in me, and he invited us to sit in the Wimbledon carriage all the way home back to London, so we'd be okay.
Nice.
It was very nice of him. So I'm not sure to listen to this podcast, but I'll always remember that what a nice guy he was, and how accommodating he was in several ways. And how he obviously, another guy said we did really well. We've definitely been safe this season, so hopefully he's correct.
I bet you're sick of hearing that, Charlie, aren't you?
Yeah, honestly.
So looking at that, we'll all take 4 points from the next 2 home games. I'd snap your hand off.
Final point, sorry, on the Oxford game.
Go on.
Leslie, I would like to invite up to 10 members of your family and friends to come into the box on Tuesday night at Oxford.
I've got a job to do.
Once in the game, And so if any of your friends and family want to come, you've got 10 seats in the box, my friend, for to come and support the team. I need to know the names quite quickly after Saturday, but whichever 10 you want, my friend, just get me the names, I'll get you fitted in.
Debbie, Paul, Ian, Colette.
Well, there you go. That's very
One.
appreciated. I might take you up on it.
You don't have to come. You don't have to come. Any friends or family want to come in the box with me.
Oh, my grandkids will love it. My grandkids will love it.
Right, brilliant. So there's 2 extra spaces.
Thank you.
That's really sweet of you, Charlie. That's a brilliant effort. I'm sure your family will love that, Les, won't they?
Oh, well, I think we've mentioned it before, but Colette, the daughter, she's only been coming fully this season. She's been to odd one, but she's been brought up with Morecambe and never liked football. The 3 kids, one's 12, one's 11, one's 6, never kicked a football. And now all this momento's been going since we've gone up, and the 12-year-old's in the football team. He's not very good, and he knows, but he's learning. The other one never spent any money, and he's been spending all his money in the shop. And the daughter she actually starts work at the club tomorrow, Saturday. So
doing what?
Well, she used to clean at the school. She's got about 5 jobs, but she's... Oops, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
We'll edit that. She's only got 1 job.
Yeah. And we've been looking sort of for a cleaner for the dressing room areas, the corridors, because, like, we don't employ, like, a band of cleaners, and that'll be more or less her concentrated job. So, like, after the game on Saturday, she'll do the dressing rooms and everything, and they'll be ready Monday morning for when the players come in for training, which, it's usually me that cleans it. Nikki does a bit. Yeah, and it's not perfect. So no. He's absolutely buzzing about it. And she wants to know how many seasons tickets she gets Charlie a season as well.
As many as she wants to buy.
Yeah, no, she loves it. They've never spent.
You think she's bad luck, Charlie? She's never been to watch Morecambe until this year. We're in a dangerous position. So should she not be invited then?
There's a thought on that as well, isn't there? Yeah. No, she'd be one at first after all the enthusiasm she's got. And
that makes me really happy, Les, with all the stuff we've been doing to try and... It's not just about the football on the pitch, right?
It's off the pitch. Be pushed everywhere. And like I say, 18 months ago, she wouldn't have even known there was a game on. She's into every fans page. She comments on everything. So she's massive into it now.
Strange how things change, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there you go. And thank you again.
You're all right. We'll come on to you now, Les. Obviously, you've got some. Obviously, when your family know you're on this, they'll all listen, and then so they'll know they're invited for Tuesday night. So you'll be getting inundated with hundreds of people texting you saying, "I'll go." And Charlie, that's really, really kind of you. As usual, you are top man and very, very thoughtful. So we'll move on to Les now. Like I said, I introduced you before as the $6 million man. Or is it 6 pills a day, man? Is that right?
6 pills a day. And apparently operation was about 15 grand's worth.
Really? So, all right. Well, you're on the way to $6 million then.
We're getting there, yeah. Just a couple more things to... No, I don't... What else happened?
So I mentioned it will be a season you'll never forget for obvious reasons. So for those that don't know, talk us through the Wigan game and how it panned out.
We was actually in separate dressing rooms. They're still doing the COVID bit at Wigan, so we was under the east stand. They've got changing rooms over there as well.
Or is that the rugby ones?
No, I'm not sure if they use them. I think it's just community.
All right, okay.
But the bigger than ours, they're massive, and it's all set out there, but it's just not being used except for the away teams. So. Yeah, I took Derek Quinn with me. He's been helping me a little bit this season. As you know, Derek Yeah, fell off on holiday and broke both his wrists, fractured his wrists.
He wouldn't have been good at CPR, would he? With no wrist.
Say again, sorry.
He wouldn't be good at CPR with his wrist in plaster, would he?
He could thump, yeah. But before the game, so obviously he couldn't lift or carry any. He took something over his shoulder. That was about it. So and that's what I can't do now for.
That's what turned it. That's what turned it. You thought Quinny was going to help you, and you put extra exerting yourself because Quinny had his arms. It's Quinny's fault.
But yeah, we got set up anyway. We did it all, and then we went and had a KFC.
Healthy options. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm allowed them now and then. And then it got to about 3:40, and I just walked past the gaffer. Says, "I'm not going back. It was a long way to dress. You don't mind if I don't go back into the changing rooms yet? I'll go early, just before end it for staff." Yeah, no problem. And then Gibbo, I went to talk to my family for a couple of minutes behind the goals. And then the play started to go off and I started to walk across the pitch and Gibbo was there. I said, "Oh, bloody hell, mate, I don't feel right good." He says, "Get yourself checked out. You look a bit, I says, "It's right. We'll carry on for now anyway. If I'm on bench and I just fall over, just leave me for a while, will you? Get the game over with." He's like, dead, But anyway, I said, "I'll wait till Farney comes out." So Farney comes out, and Gibbo must have told him, and he says, "Are you not so well?" I said, "No, I just feel a bit, So he got the doctor, and he gave me a Rennie, because I didn't have anything really other than a pain.
Well, all I'll say is that's a doctor for you. He was in the right area because doctor treats heartburn.
Exactly. So I did that, but within a minute or two, 5 minutes into the game, I spewed up right next to Squiz, right behind Squiz. I managed to get a bottle and wash it away quick, and then the doctor come again and took us into the medical room. I managed to walk there. And the rest is history, as they say. It's just all.
So were you suffering sort of tightness across the chest or numbness, or what was it?
From 2:50 till 3:15 till 3:05. Mate, honestly, I've never felt anything like it. Never felt anything. People go through all sorts, and people go through worse things. But mate, that's the most pain I've ever had. So the day after Wembley, when I got back at night and got into bed, I actually ended up with a kidney stone and in hospital for 3 days. And that is painful as well, mate. Nobody wants a kidney stone. But obviously that doesn't affect you like this did. And, wow. And then the doctor comes in and they monitor on some things and everything, little stickers here and there. And he says, it's happening now. You're going through it now. And it's like, wow.
And you were conscious there thinking, uh-oh.
No. What I was thinking more at daughter who just come rushing in because Squiz had given a call on before and the lad come running in.
Yeah.
And she looked more worse than I did, I think. She's, "Dad, what's going on? What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just having a fag, I'm just lying here having a fag, no. The doctor made her go out because he said she'll stress you out more. And then right in the medical room, didn't I? Right. Oh, it was just, I felt that's more embarrassing than hope. But them guys, the medical staff and the whole staff and everybody that helped the daughter, my son, and the family, anybody and everybody at Wigan Athletic. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because looking back at our history, it's strange for us now to be in the same division as them, but we were in the same division many times. They were in the Cheshire League, we were in the Lancashire Combination, but we had some great battles with them on the pitch in the Northern Premier League, Les, as you remember.
Well, yeah, I remember playing Wigan, but I don't remember any games. I swear I can't. I'm useless like that, mate. I'm useless. But I remember Wigan scoring on that day. I was laying up bench and there was a massive scream and it wasn't us. Even though our fans have been great, making noise, the whole stadium rocked when they got the first goal. I was still in the room getting sorted then and What a noise! What a great.
So then they very quickly got that. Obviously, there's an ambulance on standby there, isn't there?
No, I'm not sure. Not sure if they called one or it was on standby. I'm not 100%.
But obviously, they decided to take you to Withenshaw because obviously it was a heart attack. So
it's one of the top ones. They alternate between North Manchester General, and it was Withenshaw's, but nearly died in ambulance because we nearly crashed.
All right, not because of the heart attack.
No, I was strapped in all right, and then you've got a guy next to us who's checking you over. Daughter was sat in front, driver, and he had to do an emergency stop, and apparently he missed someone by about that much. The one who's attending to me ended up on his backside, you know, and I'm there just like, all right, if not gone now, I'll be gone soon, you know, sort of thing. So, but no, again, I'm not faulting anybody, from fans to staff in both the hospital and the football clubs, both football clubs, and the fans at both clubs. Fantastic. I've made friends now that I didn't even know I had.
It's funny because I know Charlie was alluding to it before, that obviously you've had literally hundreds and hundreds of people get in touch and send you good wishes and what have you. And it just goes to show you, obviously you've been kitman since the conference days, and it just goes to show you the effect that you have. And you don't even realise it. That must really, really be the thing that's brought this home to you.
It gets to you more. The more people you see, and I said on another interview, I was going to get me new pillbox, my 7-day-a-week pillbox. Everybody has one.
That's pretty big. It sounds like
it is. It's each compartment's about that big. I've got to take it everywhere now. And there's a lady in there, and I sort of knew her face. But she says, "Hi, Les." She had a mask on, and I said, "You all right, Les?" Yeah, thank you very much. She said, "You don't know me, but I wish you all the best and all that lot." And she says she sells programs or something like that. But that's the sort of thing. Just one person like that. So it must have an effect on some people somehow. Good, bad, I presume.
The thing is, Les, you said it. We're all Morecambe fans at heart, and that's why Charlie's on the board. I do crap like this. Joel does crap like this. You do what you do. It's all in our hearts, isn't it? It's just there because we've all been watching him since we were. All right, Joel's only near to a grasshopper age-wise now, although he's taller than all three of us put together. But and it is in your heart, and when part of that family. And it is permanent family because you've seen players come and go and more managers, et cetera, et cetera. When part of that family is threatened, people come together. And they come together because you're like, don't take this wrong, but you're like a fixture and fitting, Les, because you're always there.
Yourself is as well. You've been there since year dot, so...
I don't think that's particularly fair on Les, really, about it's being fixture. It's Les is Les, and he could be someone who's fixture and fittings but wouldn't have the same effect as Les. He's affecting.
Oh, I know it was badly put. I apologise.
From my personal perspective, like when we had the Parkinson's football team came and trained for the day 3-4 years ago, he was amazing to them. We had the documentary that we didn't go ahead then because of COVID, and they came and. I came up. They did it for 3 days of following Les around. Like, that Les guy's absolute legend. Everyone he comes across,
exactly.
Club, whether it's for 20 minutes every day with the players. Another example. How many players comment on social media? Hardly ever. None. Especially like Cole, for example. Hardly ever comment on social media. He's commented on every single thing about Les. It shows, and all the players that have left 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago all commenting. You touch people's lives, Les, and it's really, really endearing. And
you're going to get crying in a minute because I was going to mention a couple of people, but I can't because they've passed on since. Who I trained. I've never been able to do it with money, so I've had to give me effort, put the effort in to do it. And there's 2 or 3 who've died recently who've put the effort in, never really monetary gains out of it. I'm got Dickie Danson. What a legend. What an absolute...
Exactly.
You know,
legacy from all of them.
every club's got people like us,
Yeah.
but it's. I think I'm a decent person and a nice person, and that's what I'd like the club to be. Not perfect. There's some people absolutely probably hate me guts, you know, and I might hate their guts. But it's like you said, we've been there that long. It's inbred in us, isn't it? We're in, and to get out of it is difficult. I keep saying in 5 years I'm retiring. I said, nah, you won't. You can't. You won't do what else you. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But like I've said in previous times, as long as we leave it in a better place than when we first come, and I think the whole club has moved on so far, and we can move on even further. But it's been a short space. I've been 26 years. That's not a long time. Really, it's not a long time. Another 26 years. Imagine how far else we could be moving on.
Yeah.
A stand over the other side. You know, we might be buying the gym back and the pitches. We might even build a new.
Two more questions for Les before we move on to that sort of stuff. Number one, what did you have from KFC?
Boneless banquet.
Boneless banquet. And does that mean because of your plight at Wigan, what is the coach on the way home food going to look like? Do we sometimes get in the mix on the away game?
It's a close one like Wigan. It'd be Domino's.
But is it still going to be like fish and chips that we get, or are you going to have to? It's going to be like broccoli and cauliflower and stuff.
Chicken Caesar salad. Yeah.
Well, under Robbo, he didn't want anything like that. Fish and chips. It was a no-go. I've got Chinese once, and he went ballistic. He said, "I love it, but can't have it."
So what did you end up getting on the coach then when Robbo was there?
Normally it's pizzas or wraps, chicken wraps, and that's it. Quite basic, really. But they also started doing something from the kitchens to take with us and heat on the bus, like chicken dinners and stuff like, salmon dinners, stuff like that.
That sounds quite nice.
But it was. I haven't got receipt from Wigan as well. Sorry, Charlie.
Right.
I haven't got anybody onto me yet chasing it.
So can I pick up a few things that Les talked about there, Freez then?
Yeah, of course you can.
So, if people watch on YouTube, you see behind me the flamethrowers coming out my head from the best day of my life and best day of everyone's lives in Wembley in May last year. And, the plan of the club was to be a competitive, sustainable League One club by 2024, and to move the club on in all ways we possibly can for getting better every day and a little bit better every day. Absolutely. And, no matter what happens in the next 7 games, this club has come on so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we should not lose sight of that ever,
No.
I'm immensely proud of the small part I've had to play in that with James and the board. But every single person who comes to that match on Saturday has helped the club progress in their own way. Right?
It's not a disaster if we go down.
No.
We will. I'm not going to talk about that, Les, at the moment, because it's just the wrong thing to do. But whatever happens, this club is moving on into a better place. Yeah. And even if that was to happen next season, we've still got 2 years. Or who cares if we're doing 4 or 5? We're not going anywhere. Are we, Les?
No, 100%. Totally.
Right? I think so. We will continue to improve this club as much as possible under the restraints or the limitations we have. We will get better and we will improve and we will be a club to be proud of for the long term, no matter what happens in the next 7 games.
And I think that's a lovely thing to say, Charlie, because it's where, as you know, by your own plans, you're ahead of schedule, aren't you?
Ahead of schedule. I'm speaking to Ben tonight about stuff we've been. You just have to look at what we've done. Washing machines, the bloody change rooms in the home ground. Washing machines, gravy, chips. But I'm being facetious, but those little things weren't there. And if
No.
you had other little things from I know that the covering in the stand hasn't gone as well as it wanted to, but it will be done.
But it's happening.
There's a few things that haven't gone particularly well. But what a great time we've had this season,
Of course we have.
How exciting has it been to go to these grounds and, Plymouth. I don't know if you came to Plymouth, but it was so fun. What a ground that is, to actually be playing at that stadium.
Yeah.
It was a privilege. It was a privilege. And I know we played in League Two before, but, they're a proper big, packed out League One club. So, we will try. I know everyone will be trying their best. And even if the worst was to happen, it's not the worst that could happen, right? I know that what I go through every day. Les knows that what happens to him.
Exactly.
And there's a lot worse things in the world. The same people will still be there. The same support will still be there. We'll still be the same football club. And I know we would have given it, of all the things that the board have been to this year, we have given our best shot possible. And so has everyone else in the club, even the players. They've tried. There's been so many games where they've tried so hard, as much as they possibly could. I don't think anyone. I think on Twitter today about the amount of tickets we sold. Someone, I think George Marshall said, no one can say the fans haven't been behind us.
No, and there's been very, very few games where, as a fan, I can say the team have come off and not given their all. That's true, isn't it, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, I think they do basically every game, really. I think you see a few things after a few bad results kind of go around about players' effort and stuff. I think Stephen Robinson actually kind of put it quite nicely in the season. Sometimes it comes across like they might not be trying, but they're always trying. It's just sometimes you get in a bit of a rut with confidence, and it's hard to lift yourself up to those levels of performances. Or sometimes you just having a bad day. It happens sometimes, but you look at the players and the effort they're putting in, and they're putting so much effort. And you look at Wigan. I thought they ran the socks off, but you just come up against a quality side when you're low on confidence, and the quality side who are high on confidence. So, you can't say that they haven't tried and they've worked hard, and you just got to hope that that'll pay off over the next 7 games.
And something Charlie said before, which was that obviously the club has moved on to a better place. We're in the highest position we've ever been in, and I know it's not particularly high in this division, but it's still the highest. And I thought it was quite fitting, really, because obviously with what's just happened to Les, you put that into he moved off. Ealing moved off to a better place, but thankfully he's still here with us, and that in itself just shows you how fragile this situation is with us as footballers and football fans. Because, and as we've said, nobody's died, and that's true, because Les is here, living proof. He's lived through that. He's sat here, he's talking to us, he's laughing his head off, and his main concern is 3 points Saturday. Am I wrong, Les?
No, it's exactly right. Whether I was here or not, it'd still be, everybody be wanting 3 points. That's reality, isn't it? So it's not about me, it's about the club. It's about all of us getting together as a club and supporting them players. Like I say, they don't go out not to try.
No.
Sometimes might look a little bit like that. They don't go out not to try. I can see it in the dressing rooms. They're all pumped up. They're wanting to be pumped up. They try to pump each other up. That's all anybody could ever ask. And go out there and we'll get 3 points on Saturday.
I'm still in touch with Paul Tomlinson, and he sends me emails quite frequently, actually. And obviously he's not been coming since the COVID incident. So he's had 2 years but he was watching and was in touch saying, I watched it on Saturday, etc., etc. And obviously, bit young for Joel, but Charlie, remember Tomo was a fullback when we got promoted from up to the conference from the Northern Premier League. And Tomo, out of the blue, said he just found out about Les. Can you make sure you tell him that I'm thinking of him and I'm really wishing him a speedy recovery? And that's from Tomo.
I know. That's the sort of guy, bad or fast. And that's the Morecambe togetherness. We're not a horrible club. We're not horrible people around the club that are running the club. No. They're all decent people. And I've had Ryan Zico Black. He's messaged me. Scott Wotton, who left us 3 months ago. He's messaged from Australia. He's just got a club and doing really well out there. I think I'm a friend with Jacob Mensah's mum now as well. You know, she's a lovely lady, and I think that's what we give, and we seem to get it back. And like I say, the message is not only for me, but for the club as well. You know, we've brought players back many times, and they enjoy coming back. You get your grimmies. I would even think if Coley wasn't involved in football, he'd come back and enjoy it as well. Even though we hate him at the moment.
No, I don't hate Coley. I admire Coley. I admire Coley. I look. You know what Coley's like? He's a winner.
Yeah.
He'd play his own kids at Monopoly and he'd want to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said in October 2019, in April, May 2022, we're going to be just finished our first successful season in League One. We're going to be staying in League One for a second successive season. What would you have said? You just said absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you'd have got laughed out of town.
We're in a position where we've got 7 games.
Yeah.
Try and stay in League One. If we actually do it, it will be an amazing, amazing achievement. If we don't do it, we're going to give it another go next year. Yeah,
damn right. And that's what football's all about, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you, but it's why we keep coming back.
Yeah. we don't know why we do it. I actually don't know why.
It's ingrained. That's why it becomes like a drug, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The man will be on next week because James' turn, but the Cambridge game, we owe them one from last year. Remember that game when Gibber got sent off?
Yeah. And then they got a penalty for the lad sticking his foot in front of Ryan Cooney.
I can't remember.
We'd have probably gone to win the league if we won that game.
Yeah, you're right. But that's strange, isn't it?
That's this behind me.
Yeah, we got Wembley instead, so we'll take it.
No. I mean, I'll take that all day. In fact, to be honest with you, if you said, if we go down, would you come straight back up? I said, yeah, but via the playoffs.
No, thanks. Time off. Only got 2 weeks off last time.
Yeah, fair point, Les. That could have driven you to the heart failure, couldn't it? That.
Yeah, true. But you take it, it's either 6 weeks by going up automatically off, or 2 weeks by playoffs.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Then we'll go up as champions, and that'll shut Aki fans up for a start. Yeah. So.
I know. But no. But I just say, from as well, David, from 200 fans on the town end.
That one behind me.
Yeah. I love that stand. I want that picture as well, by the way.
I'll send it you.
From watching 200 fans, to Joel, who's, I don't know how long you've been coming, Joel, but you've done your bit as well. And Charlie, what you guys upstairs are doing a massive job. So from where we've come to where we are now, I couldn't care if we were in Premiership. Not that's a silly thing to say, innit? But
this just as an aside, and it's a bit of self-indulgence. Me and Les used to play Saturday football for Middleton.
Oh no, here we go.
No quick throws, but we used to finish, because obviously in winter you kick off at 2:00 because you're not posh, you ain't got floodlights. And me and Les used to get changed really quickly and race down if Morecambe were at home and try and catch the last 20 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah, and the best one of that was Marine at home, I think it was. Rolly Howard had never beat us.
No, still hasn't.
Still hasn't. And he was a legend in non-league management, wasn't he, with Marine? And when we turned up, I think we were 3-1 down.
Yeah.
With 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And we won 4-3.
No, that was me and you, Les. That's what we were there for, to turn the luck around.
Exactly. Stevie Alden.
Exactly, yeah. 200 was there. Brilliant night. Right, Charlie, have we got anything else updated?
Tomorrow there'll be an announcement about coach travel to definitely the Cambridge game, maybe as well the Charlton game. It's been a bit slow for a couple of reasons, which I'm not going to go into on the podcast, but trying to bridge a gap between the club providing it and the Shrimps Trust providing it, and availability of people to be able to marshal the coach and that sort of stuff. So Ben's going to make an announcement on that tomorrow. got the season ticket campaign going out for next season, which is really exciting. Which is going to be released. The new branding that Two Stories have been doing. Rob Ellis has come through, which is great. And then we've got the goings on today on some of the land outside the ground, which people might be wondering about. But again, I'm not going to go into it in full now. But the point is to people that is not Morecambe Football Club's land. It's owned by the gentleman who's been doing the work today, and not much we can do about it. Sadly, he's bought it at auction, and Rod asked me to just make the point that it's all going to get sorted out in the next few days. But it's not our land.
Yeah, we know. I drove past today and noticed the Mazuma sign was leaning, the concrete and what have you was leaning over, and I was like, "Oops, they're not hanging about there, are they?"
No.
The last thing I want to talk about, obviously, is that it's been a hive of activity with a lot of volunteers down at the club this week, sorting out so much. Of the stuff that's been donated to send to Ukraine. Charlie, talk us through that.
Yeah, Rod Taylor's been a busy beaver the last 3 days. It's been an amazing effort from players to fans to volunteers to everyone. It's just part of what we do as a club, right? We look at I'm not laughing in a bad way, but just imagine if you lived in Ukraine. Surviving in League One or living in Ukraine, going through that, puts things into perspective. So hopefully we've done a really good job together, and we've done our bit to provide some humanitarian aid to those much worse afflicted than Morecambe Football Club fans.
And final question for Les. You'll be looking forward to the future now, Les?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I've got a few years left yet.
I'm sure you have. And does that involve carrying on as we are and looking forward to getting back to work?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to drive for about a month or lift. So if it's all right with you, Charlie, can I be a boss for a little bit and order a few people around?
We will be making sure that you are on this earth as long as possible, Les. So if you have to chill out for a bit longer, not a problem.
I want to carry on. There's a lot I can do. There's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do. So
you can do as much as you want within the realms of what the doctors and the sensible people say.
I'm here. That's it. It's not about me anymore, please. It's been great, all this attention, but from tomorrow when I go back in, it's got to stop. So
yeah, this is your 15 minutes of fame. We'll be talking about the football next Thursday.
Yeah, that's all I want to talk about now. So I'll get enough with our lass. She's got me dieting. I've lost a stone in a week. So
Oh, you done chopped a leg off?
Hey?
You chopped a leg off?
Yeah, not quite. It's probably the only way it would have happened previously, but no, that's it. Just a bit of a different lifestyle, that's all. So let's move on.
Yeah, good for you. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. I do appreciate it. Like I say, it's lovely to talk to you because it came as a massive shock to everybody. And I got the message through. I wasn't at Wigan, but I got the message through saying you'd been taken to hospital, and I was like, nightmare, And the game became sort of incidental for me. I was sat there watching it, thinking this isn't good. So, as somebody I've known for 1,000 years, it's really nice to talk to you and take care of yourself.
Thank you very much, and Charlie, thank you very much. Joel, thanks a lot. I don't know what for, but. Being a Morecambe supporter.
Smiling in the background.
Yeah, no, top man, thank you. Charlie, once again, thanks a lot, mate.
No problem, mate. We're here for you, mate. We're here for you.
Thank you.
So that's been the latest podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be people down at the club on Friday morning still doing stuff for the Ukraine charity. If you want to go and help out, you'd be quite welcome. And from speaking to a couple who were there today, there's still plenty to do because there's lots of tidying up as well. But
look forward to the first game of the season on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. First game of the mini league. That's what we're going to call it, isn't it? So Joel, anything else from the trust?
No, not really. Just kind of working away with coach travel. Starting to look a little bit ahead to next season of what goodies to put in your little bag that you get at the start when the memberships get renewed. But yeah, just kind of keeping ticking over really.
And just the final little story. We were on the coach. We got on the coach to Shrewsbury, and Jack was looking after the coach. And I obviously Tom decided he was going to come on it. Tom Collins. And I had another mate. He messaged me about 2:00 saying he's in the room. So I emailed Jack, and he got back to me. And then he revealed a little surprise, because obviously Glenn Cooper, who was my co-commentator for donkey's years, I booked him on that coach. And he got on, and Jack came up and went, he told me already. He was like, Glenn's membership's lapsed, so it's 16 quid. What do I do? I went, tell him. So I said, we've dropped down to 699 members now, Glenn. And he was like, what? Oh yeah, I haven't renewed mine. So do you know something? He paid for the whole season there and then. So there you go. So we're back up to 700. Don't panic. So yeah, this has been ShrimpsNet. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope we have a fantastic weekend, and I hope we have a fantastic time. Leslie's family in Charlie's box on Tuesday night, and I hope if we get a point or 3 points out of either of those games, every point is valuable. So up the Shrimp.
Even if we don't freeze, there's got 5 more games in the Middle East to go.
Oh yeah, it's not over till it's over. I'm a firm believer in what James says. Never ever give up, because you just never know what's going to happen. And stranger things have happened. People have been absolutely, utterly out of it at Easter and still survived. And we're not even at Easter yet. So who knows? So thanks for listening. Join us again next week, when hopefully we'll be talking about 2 marvellous home wins.